Welcome to the Mountain Morning Show. I'm really excited to have Jen Billow here from the Park City Education Foundation, and we're talking teachers grants in just a little bit. But first I wanted to check out your coding program.
Oh yeah.
Diego went out there, let's check it out.
Welcome back to PCTV Reports. The Park City School District, alongside with the Park City Education Foundation, have come up with a great way to prep their kids for life in a 21st century world by teaching them how to code.
One suggestion I have with that is when you get that code, you got to physically go around and listen what the Yeah, so we started coding the Park City School District at the elementary level 3 years ago now with a pilot with first grade. And so the class that you observed today was that class. They're now third graders. So what you saw today were the kids on Scratch. They created their own programs, which was called Animate Your Name, and so the ability to create what they want to create. And then the collaboration piece, so towards the end of class, but they've been doing it for the past 4 weeks as they worked on their projects, and they're collaborating with their classmates to get through those bugs, to get through those problems, to try to make the program work like they want to make. I mean, the biggest transferable skill that I've seen is just the perseverance to be able to keep trying even when something's really hard. And just remembering them as first graders, not really used to that. It's either kind of right or wrong, but this, it's like, oh, I didn't get it right. Okay, how do I make it right? Yeah, I mean, that difference right there. But as we spoke about as far as sequencing and algorithm, so algorithm being a list of steps, and then sequence having that list of steps in order, being able to look at their algorithm and see where that bug is or the mistake is, the error, and putting it into sequence. Just from first grade, teaching those explicitly, and now seeing them as third graders, they're kind of working through it on their own.
The Education Foundation, we think of ourselves as kind of this great incubator to help make these amazing programs happen. And elementary coding is certainly one of those incredible experiences. It goes back to the 4 C's that Mike had spoken about for the 21st century. It's teaching kids the critical thinking, communication, collaboration, as well as creativity. It's setting these kids up for success. In the future that we don't really know what the future is necessarily going to hold, but definitely gives all kids this wonderful foundation of skills, whether they go on to seek careers in computer science or something else. It's just a great foundation for them. I think
one of the coolest things about this program is the fact that we're not necessarily equipping or we're not necessarily creating a whole bunch of computer scientists. Really, these students are able to choose whatever careers they want as they go through their education. But the biggest thing is that we are equipping them with the tools that they need, because computer science is all around us. So even if they aren't interested in computer science when they get to high school, when they get to higher education, that's okay. We are equipping them with these transferable resources such as perseverance and the 4 C's that I talked about, with communication, collaboration, the ability to critically think, and then the ability to create. So I think that's probably the coolest thing about this program, and what we're teaching them in this curriculum is just equipping them with those tools.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned because we have much more PCTV reports coming to you right after this break.
Well, that's a look at the coding program, which is really its own program in itself. It's special.
Right.
But I do want to talk about your teacher grants, because this is separate from that program altogether. You guys are covering all kinds of innovative, creative ideas, and what I didn't know is that the ideas stemmed from the teachers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's really exciting. I mean, the teachers they're the boots on the ground, right? I mean, they're in the classrooms. They know what they would like to have to keep students engaged. And so this is one of our oldest programs. When we were founded in 1986, the very first thing we did was grant a teacher $2,000 to send 2 kids to space camp at Stanford. And they've just been growing ever since. And when a teacher asks for a grant, they apply for it, and it really is their idea. We don't go to them and say, we think you should try this, or we've heard about this. And so every year we've had teacher grants. They're always due in October 31st. And they're the one program we have where teachers ask for the money. We grant them the money, and then they get the materials and programs in the same year. So they're kind of test piloting these ideas in their classrooms in the same year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they can see if they're great or if they're not so great. You know, we've saved taxpayer money by covering the cost ourselves rather than the school district having to do it on a much bigger level.
That's so great. So when a teacher applies for a grant, do they have to pretty much have a presentation and say, this is why I believe we can use the money for this, you know, particular idea?
In a way, I mean, there is an application. So it's a fairly simple application, but you do have to fill it all out. We do ask for a budget. They have to research it. They have to give some reasons on why they think it would be good or interesting. They also have to give a couple reasons on if it's successful, what they see happening with it. So we especially like to try things that perhaps could be expanded in more classrooms later or the district. So for instance, the big EVA art program, which is in 3 of our 4 elementary schools, that started as a teacher grant at McPolin. They wanted to pay someone to teach some art classes, and then it was so popular it expanded to other schools, so it became a much bigger grant. And that's the way so many programs that are now core programs in our district have started. One of those being, for instance, the One Book, One Community, which is going on right now. The author's in town, the high school kids have read the book. She's giving her free conversation tonight, but that started as a teacher's idea at the high school. He wanted every student to have the chance to read the same book, and he wanted to bring in the author like they do at college, you know, in college seminars. So he funded it out of his pocket the first year or two, and then
wow, that's how much he believed in it.
That's how much he believed in it, and then, you know, he said he applied for a grant, and the whole English department did, and we were, this is fantastic, and we funded the money, and now we're in our 9th year. So that's the exciting part about teacher grants. And we have a big committee. So the teachers apply for the grants. They're due the 31st. And then we have a big committee of parent volunteers, retired teachers, some admin, parents whose kids have long graduated, but they're still passionate about education. And we have a very, our executive director likes to call it robust discussion back and forth, because we get asked for a lot more than what we can afford to fund.
Right.
So we go back and forth. Do they meet the criteria? You know, do we think this is interesting? Is this something that perhaps could be funded elsewhere? And then we put forth the recommendation to our board, and then they vote on it. So it's very exciting, and then the teachers get to find out right before Christmas. So it's like this big, you know, holiday present that you're going to get this program.
The biggest Christmas gift of all, right?
Totally, exactly.
The biggest Christmas gift of all.
Right.
So this year you guys granted $80,000.
Yes.
Huge question.
Yes.
Where do you get the funding?
That's a fantastic question. So originally all our funding came from our Give 180 campaign. So you've heard us talk about Beat the Call or Give at School registration and the phone-a-thon. So all of that dollars raised goes towards teacher grants. And then the last few years, Deer Valley Resort has given a generous amount for 6 years now. They really support our teachers. And then 2 years ago, the Fay Family Foundation, Jody Fay is a parent in the school district. She sat on the committee one year and was blown away by how innovative and creative and passionate the teachers were. And she went to her parents who have a foundation. She said, this is something I would really love for us to help fund. And so they've given a $20,000 gift the last 2 years, and that's allowed us to go from about $55,000 a year to $80,000 a year.
Wow. What a supportive community.
Oh, it's amazing.
Can you even imagine what they have to be passionate about education to be willing to give that much money to these programs, all created by teachers.
Yeah.
Last question for you, real fast.
Yes.
Is what was the best idea, your favorite idea so far this year for a grant?
That is really tough. I will say I love the maker spaces, and that maybe isn't brand new. That started as a teacher grant 2 years ago at Trailside, and it has spread like wildfire to the other schools. And those are these spaces where kids can tinker. So you can come in and build, you know, a roller coaster. At Ecker Hill, they're having these boat races where they're building the boats. They're using physics, but
cool.
without, you know, having to do it on paper. So I love that, and I love that it's expanding around the district.
And I love that it's all stemmed from one teacher
From
who
one
had
teacher.
the idea. You know
Totally.
what? More brains, the better.
Exactly.
The better idea creation. Well, Jen, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited that your teachers just got their grants awarded to them for Christmas. Amazing
Yes.
Christmas gift. And where can people find more information about you guys?
Absolutely, at our website, pcef4kids.org.
Awesome. Jen, thank you so much for joining us this
Thank
morning.
you.
All right, we will be back in the kitchen in just a couple minutes to wrap up the show.